All right, let's talk about a database marketing segmentation approach that is one of the most common and easiest to apply. It's called the RFM approach, or recency frequency monetary analysis approach to segmentation for database marketing. So what is RFM? Well, it's based on three aspects of purchase behavior. Recency, that is, how recently has the customer purchased from us? Frequency, how frequently does the customer purchase from us? And monetary value, that is, how much money has the customer spent with us during a specified period of time? So RFM is a very traditional direct marketing tool that started with direct mailers and catalog marketers, going all the way back to people like Sears Roebuck, which was the very first cataloger rather than direct face-to-face brick and mortar merchants. Of course, that was the original version of sort of online marketing. Unlike traditional marketing or traditional segmentation and modeling, to perform an RFM analysis, you do not need a statistics background or appended data files. All you need is a database with purchase history. Three basic things, of course, that you can learn about your customers. You can learn who they are, that is their demographics. You can learn why they buy, their attitudes and motivations, and you can learn what they buy, their behaviors. RFM is built on the concept of what's the best predictor of future behavior? Past behavior. Let me give you two quick examples. One, suppose you were in charge of selling tickets to the Las Vegas Bowl. This is a college football game played in Las Vegas between two out-of-town teams on around December 24th each year. How would you market this if you were a traditional marketer? Well, if you're a traditional marketer, you'd probably put some ads in the local newspaper, radio, and television here, and you would try to promote it with press conferences and events to try to get people aware of the game that is coming up and to try to convince people to buy tickets for that game. Well, what if you were a database marketer? Well, if you're a database marketer, you would probably approach this differently. You would go back to the Las Vegas Bowl database and identify those people who have purchased tickets to the Las Vegas Bowl last year, the year before that, and perhaps even the year before that. And of course, then you would market to them with the idea that the people who have bought tickets last year are probably the most likely to buy tickets this year. People who bought tickets for the last 2 or 3 years, that is, frequently buy tickets, are also very likely to buy tickets this year. And the people who spent a lot of money over the years on buying tickets to the Las Vegas Bowl also are very likely to buy tickets. You would probably then go into the visiting team, the two teams that are from out of town, and you would market to their customer base if you're a traditional marketer, you would obviously do advertising in their towns. And if you were a database marketer, you would want to go to their teams, their athletic departments, and find out and get lists of people who have purchased tickets to their games over the past couple of years, and those would be the people that you would focus on, because the best predictor of who would go to a football game in the future is people who went to a football game from those teams in the past. Suppose instead that you were in charge of selling rooms for Super Bowl weekend for the Isle of Capri Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana. How would you market this event if you were a traditional marketer? Well, you'd probably go to New Orleans and perhaps Baton Rouge, East Texas centers, and then probably the big cities in Texas, Houston, College Station, Austin and Dallas and do advertising on the local TV, radio, and newspapers. What would you do if you were a database marketer? Well, you'd go to the Lake Charles Isle of Capri Casino database and do what? You would go to their database and you would identify people who have come to the Super Bowl weekend at the Isle of Capri in the past, starting with the most recent and the most frequent and those who have spent the most money. You then might also go to their regular database and look at people who are recent, frequent, and high monetary value customers to their casino in general and market to them. Now, understand that RFM is different than lifetime value in that lifetime value is focused on the profitability of customers, while RFM is focused on trying to predict the responsiveness of customers, that is, whether or not they will respond to the current offer. It should be noted, not all responsive customers are profitable. In fact, some responsive customers are profitable, very profitable, and some are probably not profitable at all. Additionally, not all profitable customers will respond to a particular offer. So these are very different kinds of tasks, identifying your most profitable customers versus your most responsive customers to the current offer. So RFM is designed to predict responses. This is, of course, the way that catalog and direct marketers used to use RFM. And it can be used with a combination of mail, phone, and emails to create a responsive relationship profile. Today, many firms use some form of RFM. For example, most casinos use some modified RFM model to market to casino customers, trying to identify which customers to make offers to and how those offers should be structured. So to be able to understand RFM and exactly how it works, you need to be able to compute a response rate. The response rate is the number of people who respond to and purchase based on by how many people the offer was made to. So here's an example. Let's assume that I have mailed to 40,000 people and I have 1,034 responses that have purchased my offer. The response rate then is 1,034 divided by the 40,000 people that the offer was made to, then multiplied by 100 to get the percentage, which is 2.59%. So this is the response rate, 2.59% to this particular offer. Okay, so now let's look at how we build an RFM code and an RFM model. We start with recency, the R in RFM. What you do is you put the most recent purchase date into every customer record, and then you sort the database by that date, newest to oldest. You then divide that list into 5 quintiles. You then assign 5 to the top group, that is the most recent purchasers, 4 to the next most recent purchasers, down to 1, which are the oldest or least recent purchasers. Then you put that quintile number in each customer record. This is what typically recency response rates look like. That is, that people who are the most recent responders to offers are dramatically more likely to respond to the next offer. This isn't always the case, but this is typically what they look like. In this case, 3 times as likely as the next recency quartile to the 5s are 3 times as much likely as the 4s to respond positively to this offer. Next, we need to compute the frequency index. That's the F in RFM. What you do is you keep the number of transactions in each customer record for a specified period of time. You then sort the frequency groups from the highest, that is the most frequent purchasers, to the least frequent purchasers. You then divide that into 5 equal groups, quintiles, and you assign the groups 5 to 1, with 5 being the most frequent purchasers and 1 being the least frequent purchasers. You then put that quintile number in each customer record. This is what frequency quintiles typically look like. And as you can see here, the 5s, that is the most frequent purchasers, are twice as likely as the 1s, the least frequent purchasers, to respond positively to the offer. Next, and finally, we need to do the M in RFM, the monetary index. You need to store the total dollars purchased by each customer record, and then you need to sort the monetary groups from the people who have spent the most money with us, the highest, to the people who have spent the least money with us, the lowest. Once again, you divide it into 5 equal groups, quintiles, and you assign a number. 5 being the people who spent the most money with us, down to the 1s, the people who spent the least amount of money with us. Then you put that number in the record. At the end of this, you'll notice that the monetary quintile is perhaps not the best predictor of the 3 in terms of response rate, but it is still a significant predictor of response rates. When we get done, we have an RFM code. That is 1 of 5 recency numbers, then 1 of 5 frequency numbers, and then 1 of 5 monetary value numbers. So at the end of the day, there are 125 different codes, 5 times 5 times 5, with the code 555 being our most recent, our most frequent, and highest monetary value customers, down to 111, which is our oldest or least recent customers, least frequent customers, and lowest monetary value customers. And then all the others are arrayed in between. We do this then to predict which groups are most likely to respond positively to a particular offer. When we get done, we always run an array of responses, and this is typically what the array looks like. And so we might keep this for historical purposes to try to make predictions about who to send an offer to in the future. But typically what happens is the people who are the highest RFM scores, 555s here down to the 455s, are the most likely to respond to an offer and the most likely groups for us to make money on by marketing the offer to this group. The group here with the green circle around it are the people who are least likely to positively respond to the offer, and this is the 355 and lower groups. And you'll notice that each of these groups appear to be actually negative in terms of their break-evens, so that these groups of people, it would probably cost us more money to market to them than we would receive in terms of profits, and as a result, we would lose money if we marketed to these particular groups of people. You'll notice there is a group in the middle here who we would have to take a closer look at and decide which ones to market to. Now, one of the things that this array shows is one of the fallacies of RFM marketing, and that is this concept of list fatigue. Because you'll notice that given this particular array, we would almost always market everything that we do to the highest recency, highest frequency, highest monetary value groups, and we might not send very many offers at all to the lowest recency, lowest frequency, and lowest monetary groups. And so as these groups down here, like the 255 and the 254 and the 253 groups, well, they keep getting what? They keep having less and less responses, lower recency, lower frequency, and lower monetary value, because we don't make as many offers to them. And as a result, they end up being less likely to be some of our better customers, because we're not marketing to them as much. And that's one of the fallacies and one of the issues with RFM that has to be addressed when you think about how you're going to use RFM and which groups of people you're going to actually market to.